What's up? Plitty Sports Gamer here. And back my second video ever. I did a cringe-induced video calling KYLE Shanahan overrated coach. Lost as a coordinator, lost as a head coach in the Super Bowl. To be honest, KYLE Shanahan is a good coach. Obviously, he has made the 49ers a winner the last few years he's been coaching. They were coming off some dreadful years after Jim Harbaugh left, and he came in and he produced right away. He had one losing season, but other than that, he was very successful as the 49ers head coach. He brought them to the Super Bowl, and he brought them to 2 NFC championships, the latest one against Philly. But my criticism against KYLE Shanahan was almost validated during the Dallas game in the 49ers in the last round. Shanahan, the last 6 weeks, with Brock Purdy at quarterback, Shanahan opened up the game. He threw the ball downfield. He let Brock Purdy loose. Like Jimmy G, he never let loose. He always tried to control him, always the short passes. And maybe once a game, threw it down deep to try to keep the defense honest. But he was kind of different with Brock Purdy. He let him go. He let him make the throws. But this game against Dallas was totally different. And you can see that. The game plan was changed to the old KYLE Shanahan. The ones that you have to rely on the defense to shut the other team down for them to win. They didn't open up the game. They were way too conservative. And it keeps the score low. It doesn't produce points. It keeps the score low. There's a lot of pressure on the quarterback to make these throws, get the first downs rolling. Jimmy G didn't do it in the biggest game against Kansas City. But if you can see in the first half, Shanahan was being Shanahan again. Running the ball in the middle, running the ball on the left side of the line, running the ball on the right side of the line. The big plays for 49ers are usually tossing it out to the side and let the blockers pull and let the running back find the open holes. But Shanahan did not do that this whole first half, and basically the game. And it also was throwing screens to the wide receivers behind the line. They did that a lot. It was working for Dallas. Dallas did that a lot too. It was working for Dallas, but it wasn't working that much for the 49ers. And most of the passes were like 5-10 yards down the field. I think they didn't throw many passes like way down the field. I think they only threw one way down the field, and it was to Ayuk and almost got intercepted. The one to Kittle was an improvised play. Kittle was not supposed to be on that route. He just, as soon as he saw Purdy starting to run a little, he went as a receiver, and Purdy saw him. My conspiracy theory is Shanahan, I think, wanted to lose this game. Like, the way he coached made me believe he wanted to lose this game. He did not coach to win. Maybe he wanted, this is very conspiracy, but maybe he wanted Purdy to lose so that he can install Trey Lance as a starting quarterback next year. Because if Brock Purdy brought them the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, there's no way you could start Lance over him. No way. So my conspiracy theory was Shanahan came into this game and wanted to lose. Thank God for their defense. Shut down Dallas after that one touchdown. They basically shut them down the game. One of the field goals they got was because of a turnover. So thank God for the defense. That was the only way the 49ers won this game. And the fact that Dallas defense wore down in the second half, and those inside runs, and he put Mitchell in there instead of McCaffrey. Mitchell was grinding out those inside runs because Dallas was tired. That's what the 49ers do to you. They smack you, they hit you with the offensive line pulling, the guards pulling, and they wear you down. That's why no team has won after they play the 49ers. So let me take you to a couple of things. Here is a couple of articles I want to point out. KYLE Shanahan seriously stepped off the gas in the Super Bowl again. Twice in the last 4 years, a team coached by KYLE Shanahan has entered the fourth quarter of Super Bowl with double-digit lead, and twice they lost. One, as an offensive coordinator, was worse than the other. I don't know how Atlanta blew that lead. It says the Atlanta wouldn't have blown a 25-point lead to New England Patriots in the Super Bowl if not for Shanahan's astoundingly bad play calling as Atlanta's offensive coordinator. And the 49ers might have held on to beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday night if not for another dose of highly questionable play calling from the third-year head coach. Shanahan, they say Shanahan, he just chokes when the game gets tough, he starts to choke, he starts to panic. And it showed during the Atlanta Super Bowl, and it showed during the 49ers Super Bowl. It says he wasn't responsible for the defensive lapses. His teams have unbelievably and inexcusably been outscored 46-0 in the fourth quarter overtime in his 2 Super Bowl appearances. That will haunt him. It will stick with him. It will follow him around for the remainder of his career, no matter how much success he has in San Francisco. There's a tweet. Kyle Shanahan has now been a coach on the 2 Super Bowl teams with the highest win probability that end up losing the game. The Falcons had a 99.7% chance of winning, and the 49ers 96.1%. It's clear that the Vince Lombardi trophy within reach. Shanahan gets the yips. We saw that when he inexplicably called 3 passes on a late third quarter, 3 and out, that gave the Patriots momentum. And this is why I say again, teams with the big lead, they pass. I said it with San Diego. I said it with the Colts against Minnesota. And I said it with this Atlanta team. They kept on throwing it with Matt Ryan instead of just running it the whole time. It keeps the clock rolling, and the team, it's too tough for the other team to come back if the clock just keeps on rolling. As we saw it again when he got too fancy and ditched the run in field goal range while holding an 8-point lead within the final minutes of that game. A puzzling approach that led to a sack, a penalty, and a punt. To kick that field goal, the game is over probably. And while his Sunday team wasn't as dramatic, Shanahan again got in his own head when he had a chance to put the championship away. When San Francisco Tavares Moore intercepted a deflected Pat Mahomes pass in the fourth quarter, the game should have been over. The 49ers had the ball, 10-point lead, and the running game looked unstoppable. To that point, 49ers running back Raheem Mostert and Tevin Coleman, as well as wide receiver Deebo Samuel, averaged 6.9 per rushing attempt. That's right, 6.9 rushing attempt. 2 rushes, you get a first down, and the clock keeps rolling. But Mostert and Coleman had already put together monster playoff performances that year, and they had the number 1 running game during the regular season. And yet, the 49ers ran the ball just 4 times the remainder of the night. When Mostert gained 1 yard on a first down play with about 10 minutes remaining, Shanahan appeared to panic. Quarterback Jimmy G, who seemingly audible at the line of scrimmage, threw a wildly inaccurate, incomplete play-action pass in second down, which led to a penalty, a short scramble, and a punt. You run the ball, and you keep the clock moving. It's hard for Kansas City to get the ball and come back. Then, of course, Kansas City took that, cut the lead to 3. After Mostert ran a solid 5 yards on the first play, San Francisco next series, Garoppolo again threw an incomplete play-action pass, this time out of the shotgun. He threw incomplete under pressure on an obvious passing down after that. And the 49ers had a punt again. Yes, I'm living in the past, but I'm trying to prove a point here with Kyle Shanahan. He doesn't know how to call plays when it matters most. It almost happened again in the Dallas game. If it wasn't for Dak, 49ers would have lost that game because of the play calling. It was bad. So now I want to take you to this game, the last NFC Championship game last year. Kyle Shanahan roasted after the latest blown playoff game. The San Francisco 49ers lost the NFC Championship game, extending Kyle Shanahan's unwanted record of coming up short in big playoff moments. Shanahan took a 17-7 lead in the fourth quarter against the Rams, but were unable to hold the rest of the way. The Rams scored on 3 consecutive drives in the quarter and ultimately pulled out a 2017 victory. The Rams' 10-point comeback marked the largest fourth-quarter comeback in NFC Championship history. That drew the attention to Shanahan's involvement in the other playoff collapses, which I told you about. So this is a good tweet. Kyle Shanahan has now allowed largest comeback in Super Bowl, largest fourth-quarter comeback in Super Bowl, largest fourth-quarter comeback in conference championships. Not trying to cause trouble, but did Kyle Shanahan team just lose another double-digit second-half lead in a big game? How much of Sunday's loss can be pinned on Shanahan is debatable. The most questionable decision he made in the fourth quarter was to call a punt in 4th and 2. 49ers were holding a 3-point lead. Defense played well. The defense played unbelievable that game too. The Rams were the team of destiny that year with Stafford, but the 49ers should have beat them in the championship. The blame should be pinned to Shanahan. The blame for all these other games should be pinned to Shanahan. Shanahan almost lost the Dallas game because of his abysmal play calling. And I'm just doing this video just to prove before they play Philly, because I have a bad feeling that Shanahan's going to come out and do the same thing he did against Dallas. And Philly has a more dynamic offense than Dallas this year. I don't think the 49ers defense will hold them like they did against Dallas. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping Shanahan does the right thing and starts opening up the field, throwing more down the field. Kittle has to be huge this game because Philly has two great cornerbacks that could shut down Debo and Ayuk. So it might come down to Kittle. It might come down to Jennings and McCaffrey trying to get open down the field. So what do you guys think? Do you think I'm right? Think Kyle Shanahan tried to blow that Dallas game purposely to avoid the quarterback debate next year? Even though you would still have a debate, but it would have been lesser than it is now. Please subscribe, like, and comment down below. Thanks. See ya.